So having loaded the software, it's going to look something like this. There's different versions over the years. Use the one that was supplied with the ECU. Do not go on the website and start randomly downloading software. The correct one for your ECU will have been provided with it. So if you look down in the bottom corner here, it says no ECU link. The ignition's on, the light's red. Select comms port. Choose the alternative comms port and bingo, here we have ECU connected. Along the bottom here we've got all the main mapping things, and I'll go to injection, all zeros. Now people quite often ring up saying oh, there's no map in the ECU, there's no map, but the engine's running. So strange that, there really is a map. What you haven't done is gone up to comms, gone read, select all maps and push the button, and there we go, map 1, map 2, map 3. Magically you can see all the numbers are appearing. Okay, what I do when it's a new installation, I go to live adjustments, make sure I've got sensible air temp and coolant temp. You see these two are roughly the same. The throttle pot is not aligned. It's showing a small amount of throttle there, although the alignment is correct. It's saying 0, it's not on 0. There's an easy fix for that. We've got 14.2 volts because the battery charge is on. Ignition correction, injection correction, 95. That's a lot of fuel, but if you go to injector coolant corrections, you can see it's adding this amount of fuel against water temperature. This for initial origin, and this one is injector prime. That one is nowhere near high enough. This is a very old map. So coming back here, what we need to do is align the throttle, which I've got it here on a switch. So we go up to setup, select throttle, select throttle position sensor, and just work the throttle and make sure those numbers are going up as they should, which they are. I always click these two because it sets the overrun cutoff and idle stabilization, which we do want, so there's no harm in ticking those. 5 to 8 is the correct number for in there. So then we just go OK, apply full throttle, release, OK again. It tells you the numbers it's seen. You can see that's hovering below the gold there. So once you go OK, bingo, now it's right in the middle where it needs to be, and now we're in business. Now the throttle, the ECU knows exactly where the throttle is. Just a small point, if we go through to the injection map, normally you'd see 0 in here. Shift, up, right, press enter, fill with 0, okay. The reason for doing that is that if you flood the engine or you get wet plugs because the mixture's too far out, you can go full throttle and it will turn the fuel off, and then you can crank the engine and there's a good chance it will dry the plugs out and fire. Once it fires, get off the throttle fast because you're going to hit the rev limiter. Okay. Now we can look at setup on ignition timing. Down ignition alignment. You can lock the timing at, and you can put any figure in here you want. I would usually use 0 because I've got a TDC mark, and 90 degrees is the reference. This is probably a 36-1 Ford. So you start the engine, put the timing light on, click here to lock the ignition timing. Now you'll get 0 degrees no matter what you do with the revs or the throttle. So you can pick the revs up a little bit, put your timing light on. If it's not exactly in alignment, this is only for people who fit the like aftermarket timing wheels. If it's a factory one, say like a Ford, they're 30, that's going to be dead on. You don't even have to check it. But then you can click in there and use the up and the down arrows to move it in half-degree steps until it lines up. So you can attempt to start the engine. Now, if you put your fingers on keys 1, 2 and 3, key 3 will add fuel, key 2 will take fuel out, if I just put some more in, and key 1 will clear the trim. Now you can start the engine. You may need a little bit of throttle just initially, just to get it going. Fire up the engine and then practice, just do a little trim on the fueling. If that slows the engine down, get rid of it. Try a little bit out. In terms of the mixture, you can keep trimming it up and down like this until you reach a normal running temperature. I mean, obviously this has no engine running, but it's a useful thing because you can do this till you're blue in the face and just press a button and it's gone. You can take fuel out, that seems good, press a button, it's gone. So you can trim it up and down while the engine's warming up. Once it's warmed up, use those buttons to trim it just to get as stable and idle as you can. You can do it on RPM if you don't have a lambda sensor. And we're going to pull it down. Look, it's idling nicely. We've pulled it down to 56. If you press enter, watch that boom, gone. Now we've got 56 in the map here, and we've got 56 trim now. So there's no trim, in other words. If you now go back to the fueling map, you'll find that that number where I just trimmed it, which is up here in the corner, is actually gone red. Do remember, when you're changing these numbers, they don't take effect until you program down. So the shortcut for that, Control P, and then current map. I won't do it because I don't want to mess this map up, but just press enter and it will send those changes down. I like to work that way rather than have it changing live because I don't think that fast, and I like to look at the numbers, check, yeah, I'm happy with that, then Control P, send them down. If when you're trimming on the live adjustments like this with a hot engine and you find that it's quite a way out, chances are the whole map's going to be quite a way out. Now there's a very easy way to add or subtract fuel. So like we've established, we need a bit more fuel. So rather than do every site one at a time and like press enter, you can just go up to additional maps and come down to scaling, and in that you may not be able to see it, but this one here is an MSPB number which says 73 at the moment. 61 is their normal default. Click into there, backspace, and to reduce it, that was 73, you can take maybe 5 or 6 or even 10. If it's very rich, I'd make that 63. So you just tap in 6, 3, shut the box down, and then Control P, send it down, and then that will reduce the fueling on the whole map, not just the idle, but the whole map. Another way of doing like a global, that is an absolute global correction. Another way of doing it is like this. You can click and drag the area, so we're playing around here, press enter, and then you've got the option to fill, which you won't be using, add, subtract, increase or decrease. So we'll select decrease and we'll go in steps of backspace 5%. 5%'s about half a ratio, so that's fairly sensible steps. You just press OK and you see all these numbers have changed. They've gone blue, but it's reduced it by that percentage. That's it. It's done. Control P to send that change down. Try it again, and if you don't like it, do another block, press enter, fill, will go decrease by another 5%, click Control P and work your way down. Okay, so now you know how the system works. Small point, which I think I missed when I was doing the original vid. When I've said in there that you block the map, you can manipulate the maps and so on, but it doesn't change in the ECU, you then have to Control P, send it down. That is absolutely correct, and that's how I like to work. But if you've been on the live mapping screen or a live adjustment screen, you've trimmed it, you hit enter, that does actually program the ECU and change the map and highlight it in red. The ones that you manipulate that need sending down will be in blue.